Namaste. Welcome to Love Wins. I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful reality. Ashe, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the safe space that I have created for all things spiritual warfare. This platform that I call Love Wins is a frequency. My journey started as my self-love journey, bringing me into self-love and the awareness of self-love, wanting to become a self-love teacher, and then having to learn next level through difficult, abusive, narcissistic relationships, physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally, all different types of these relationships. Always to come back to love, right? Self-love. That's the key. It's the key. And within that key, it's where the work begins. The shadow work. The inner child. Healing. I'm here for the healing. I'm here for the healing. Today, I'm going to title this topic to you, whoever you is. I pray you have an ego death. I wrote that in my journal about someone in my life. I'm in about stage 5 of the 7 stages of empath awakening to break free, to go from trauma bondage to non-resonance. When you're in complete coherence, non-resonance, that is where the narcissistic system as a whole, or just the individual narcissist in your life, because this is a systematic thing. Narcissism is what's plaguing our society. It's falling with the patriarchy as the divine feminine rises. The mother is here, but there's an unfolding, there is a healing, a necessary healing. Hold on one second. There's a necessary healing that needs to happen, and for that to happen, I pray you have an ego death. Because so much has to die to be reborn. To be reborn. You're either, at this point in evolution, where we are as a society, with all of the discernment, well, you have to have discernment and all of the disclosure. You know, there's so much disclosure. If you still believe that the government has your best interest and all of the organizations are like for your benefit, then I'm not talking to you. You're cross-watching because you're NPC and you are very much under the spell of narcissism. Hurt people. But there's healing that can happen. Redemption is a path for all souls. Unless you don't have a soul. And then I'm not talking to you either. So, I pray you have an ego death. I have personal notes about this. You know, I said out loud this morning that I didn't want to come on here. Like, I felt like making a video and I didn't want to come on here and talk about my family or my personal life. But there's just no way around it because that's what I'm moving through. That's what I'm learning. That is the earth school of my now, right? And this past year, I've been going to court and it was present in my life. I had made a boundary and my boundary was challenged by dragging me through the court system to keep control. That was it. This was an attempt to keep control because I had taken my life back, regained control of my own life. And I said no. Whereas before, I just people pleased. And hoped for the best. But this whole thing, love wins, is a thing. This is my channel. This is my purpose. This is my path. Love does win. That's the message. 5:05 on my timer. That's the message. I'm just here to deliver the message. I can see, I have seen the future, the past. All timelines simultaneously exist. There is no past, present, and future. Linear time is not real. All you have to do is become coherent and tap into the field. And love does win. I feel love. I know love. I am love. I speak love. I bring you love because love wins. And my kids know it because they feel it. It's a frequency that they know because we exist in this frequency. And every time the black magic spell of narcissism wipes in and triggers and hits a bond, hits a wound, hits a trauma, we work our way back as a family to coherence. Speaking of, that was my baby. I got kisses. I love kisses. Love wins. We say that around the house all the time, and it's a fact, and we come back to love. Whatever happens, no matter how far we fall into shadow, which is a wound, it's a wounded space. It's a mental, how do I want to word this? Perception of a false reality, false evidence appearing real. We get triggered and we fall out of the vibration we're in into a lower frequency of vibration in a survival mode from a trigger, which is a repetition. It's a trigger. When you get triggered, you get into this cycle from a past, from a memory, and then you get this emotion and an emotion, right? And now you're on this lower frequency, and this is how narcissists siphon an empath's energy. You feel an emotion, and now whatever happened, your emotion is feeding, it's supercharging it. It's an energetic charge, right? So when you stay untriggered in your regulated nervous system from doing your work and integrating your lifestyle, staying present, grounding, meditating, being in joy. My 5-year-old said to me this morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning, we were woken up to a thunderstorm, and we were sleeping under the fan's in the window, and the thunderstorm, and it was just like, she said, "Mom, when I see your face, it gives me joy." And I just was like, when I see your face, it gives me joy. Like, she woke up scared from the thunderstorm, and she went back to sleep, snuggling me and just like in gratitude. It was a beautiful start to my day, right? And love wins. Love wins. I got so far off tangent, but about a month ago, my son had a phone call with his father, and we've been going to court, and we just had our child support thing, and I said some things to trigger him, and he said things to trigger me, and I'm still healing from this. I'm actively working with a therapist, and I'm seeking coaching, and I'm narcissistic abuse. It took a toll on me. And I was stubborn, so I always was, I'm healing, but I am healing, and I'm present in the healing, and I'm documenting the healing. And I'm about on stage 5 of the 7 stages, right? But my son had a phone call with his father, and the day after, him and his best friend were talking, and they both came up to me and they said, "Hey, Mom, I wanna remember when I was talking to Dad, and you remember how you said that like you won with court, and well, he says he won." And it like immediately triggered me, like, right? Because like I just stopped, right? I paused, and I said, "You know what, baby? I said, I was never at war with your father. I said, do you remember? You remember what you told me? I was protecting you. You didn't want to talk to your dad. Do you remember that? And he said, yeah. And I said, I just told him that. Why you didn't want to talk to him and what was going on. And he took me to court. And this all started. And it was never a win. He wasn't getting his way. I didn't go this deep into it, but he wasn't getting his way. This was an attempt to control me because he had lost control. Because I was supposed to choose him. I was supposed to believe him and not my son. Well, that's not the type of mom I am. And energy is truth. And I read the energy. I know my child. My child was distraught. Right? So I said, listen, I was never at war with your dad. I was just trying to get my life back. My life. Not his narrative. Right? I said, do you feel safe? Because last year he didn't feel safe. Last year, my boy wanted to kill himself. He screamed, he cried, he had rages, he wanted to die. He didn't want to be here. He was confused. His reality had been shattered, fractured. There was this life, and he didn't know what life was like. And in this one, it hurt, and it just, this person that I love hurts me, and I don't understand, and it was confusing, right? Chaos on Coldwater Road, man. It was confusing. And he didn't feel safe. And safe spaces became such a mission for me. Safe spaces, like understanding what safe spaces is. For one person to feel safe in their body, safe in their home, safe in their environment, safe in their space. The space your physical body operates mentally, physically, emotionally, in your heart, in your mind, to feel safe. What does that mean? What does that consist of? That's what we did this year. We went into that as a family. And all the users and abusers have moved out, and we are living with builders. People who are building their self. They care. Create a responsible environment. They care about the environment. We're cleaning up the mess. We're repairing the damage. We're talking through triggers. We're moving through emotions. We're coming back to love. And people in the house are all allowed, like everyone can establish a boundary, and that boundary isn't triggersome to someone else in the house, where now you're feeling like you're walking on eggshells just for like claiming a space. Safe spaces has been created in my home. But why am I still not completely in a coherent state? There's residual post-traumatic stress from narcissistic abuse. And that person still has a hold over me because we went through the courts. Court ordered that this is my residence. My dream is a fucking palm tree with coconuts, right? Like, not in here. Control over my dreams, regardless of whether my dreams are attainable based on someone else's beliefs or not. They're my dreams, my beliefs. So having limits on my beliefs, there's still cap on my creation, which puts me in a space of still needing to break through programming, conditioning, trauma. Freaking trauma, right? So I said to my son, I was never fighting your dad. I was just protecting you. I say, do you feel safe? He says, yes. I say, do you live here? He says, yes. I say, are you happy? And he says, yes. And that's it right there. I said, are you happy? He said, yes. We hug, right? We hug. And I say, you're happy? I'm happy. So you know what I think? And he's like, what? I think love wins. And I think your dad's war is your dad's war. And that's not my fucking problem. Not my problem, right? So, narcissism requires chaos. Love requires coherence. When you exist in coherence, narcissism cannot exist. So, the matrix, the system, all of the energy, because it's all energy, it's designed to keep you out of coherence. So you're frazzled. So you're easily manipulated. But if you're not frazzled, if you're present, if you're grounded, if you're calm, if you're cool as a fucking cucumber, you're just going to trigger other people, and it's not your fucking problem. It's not. Emotions are just feelings. Emotions are chemical commands. I wrote that. Emotions are not just feelings, right? So you get in your emotions when you're triggered. Emotions are chemical commands. See this? Love, properly defined, is regulated nervous system. That is the work we're doing. We heal it fucking all to have a regulated fucking nervous system. And in that coherent space, that's it. That's freaking it, right? But we're up against this toxic patriarchal system of black magic spells and governments, organizations, all of these false systems having their tower moments, right? And that's it. Like, the empath awakening is the meek shall inherit the earth, because the false structures, false gods, the systems that take our power, that we give our power to, will no longer have control over us in a sovereign state, in a coherent state, in an awakened state. Now it's community, conscious community. Making the unconscious conscious, deprogramming from the programming and rebuilding based off of like what we need to thrive, to be, to exist. Like, what really is in the best interest of the child, in the best interest of the child. Is the best interest of the child narcissistic abuse, control, and manipulation, forced into a system to be standardized, to be tested, to say you don't fit the box because you're a neurodivergent, brilliant, freaking superstar baby that's not gonna fit the box? So because you don't fix the box, now we can control, manipulate you, and siphon your energy? My child's not for sale. That's not in the best interest of the child. It's really not. It really, really, really isn't. So I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep evolving. And I'm going to keep breaking through the stages. And we'll return with another video. I will get deeper into the 7 stages of empath awakening. But I'm going to leave this one for now. And I hope you have a blessed and beautiful reality. Love does win, guys. Give your body what it needs. Rest if you need to rest. Play if you need to play. Sleep. Bathe. Shower. Walk. Ground. Plants. Land, food, and skills. And don't forget, God is a woman. I love you. Love wins.